Modern life feels empty because we lost this.
In all the county, come and get them. How much for the chickens? Fresh wool.
People cried at rainbows, prayed at sunsets. Life felt sacred. The year is 1325, wasn't misery. It was excess life. Did we trade color for comfort? Imagine waking up with a medieval soul. I'm not saying ditch your iPhone, antibiotics, or air conditioning. Those are non-negotiable. But what if, for a little while, you could live with the kind of fierce, noisy, communal life people had in 1325? Hear me out. The Middle Ages get roasted in pop culture, but there are reasons to be curious, even a little jealous, about how people then experienced the world. Picture Western Europe, year 1325. The big catastrophes, the Black Death, the long-pitched wars, haven't yet wrecked everything. Cities like Bruges and Ghent bustle with wagons and barges stacked with wool and wine. Royal courts shimmer with intrigue. Chroniclers of the time wrote of streets full of life and splendid pride. And that is not just romanticizing, there was an energy to everyday living that we've largely lost. Start with childhood. If you imagine tiny, overprotected kids glued to screens, you're thinking 21st century. A medieval child spent their days outside, playing, running, making toy knights from carved wood, burying dolls under cottage floors. Archaeologists still find those toys. Infant mortality was tragically high, so formal parenting looked different. Children under 7 weren't always treated as full social beings, but they were wildly free. Play existed. Real imagination, real mischief, without a non-stop buffet of entertainment. Childhood was shorter, yes, but it was intensely lived. Move from play to the wider world. The streets were loud. Bells marked the hours. Prayer at dawn, work at midday, rest at vespers. If you stuck your head outside a window, you'd hear hooves on cobbles, vendors hawking bread and fish, pigs rooting in alleys, a minstrel singing, and a preacher declaring a new miracle. The air was a strange mix, smoke and manure and the sweet steam of fresh bread and spiced meat. It was messy and livable. It smelled like living. Color surprises people. Forget the brown, muddy Middle Ages cliché. People loved color. Peasants wore russet and green. Merchants sported blue and stripes. Nobles paraded silks and cloth of gold. Contemporary commentators were scandalized by fashion trends, shorter tunics and flamboyant hose, which tells us medieval people cared about appearance and flair as much as we do now. Even modest cottages might be brightened with painted flowers or draped cloth on feast days. Style was a social language. There's intensity to how medievals felt everything. The historian Johann Huizinga called this world one of violent contrasts, extremes of joy and grief, piety and vice. Look at the demographics. Half the population was under 21, a third under 14. Youth shaped public life. When a preacher stirred a crowd, they wept and cheered in the same breath. Mystics like Meister Eckhart described moments of spiritual rapture as close to drunkenness. Angela of Foligno wrote of being inebriated with divine love. Religion wasn't a sidebar. It was the lens through which people read storms, births, and political events. Thunder could be a warning. A rainbow might be read as God's brushstroke. Meaning was baked into daily life. That faith also knitted communities together. The parish church was more than a place for sermons. It was a social center, a marketplace for gossip, a spot for flirtation after Mass. Feast days, Candlemas, Corpus Christi, Michaelmas, structured the year like a festival calendar. People didn't wake up one day and find meaning. Meaning was handed to them in rituals, processions, and shared stories. Eamon Duffy's research on late medieval piety shows how densely religious practice filled everyday routines, not just belief but participation, processions, guild masses, and saints' days that animated towns. Guilds deserve a special shout. If you were a craftsman, your guild was your safety net, your clan, and your PR team. Guilds set training, quality, and prices. They ensured sick members and widows were looked after. They also turned work into identity. mason, cooper, weaver. Each trade had patron saints and feast rituals. Guild feasts were legendary. Barrels of ale, roasted meat, songs for the patron saint. Work had sacred dimensions. A mason might carve his mark into a cathedral stone, knowing his labor would outlast him. That kind of social insurance, belonging, ritual, and mutual care, is strikingly different from modern corporate anonymity. Travel, not rare. Contrary to the everyone stayed in their village myth, medieval routes were busy. Pilgrims, merchants, soldiers, jugglers, and messengers packed the roads. Inns and monasteries offered rest and stew. Pilgrims could walk London to Canterbury in days, Paris to Santiago in a month. Travelers were the newswires of the age, swapping songs, stories, relics, and rumors at every stop. In an era before broadcast media, people spread information with their feet. Education looked different, but was not absent. If you were noble, you learned Latin, scripture, arithmetic, and history. Classical learning never fully vanished. Monasteries and cathedral schools preserved and taught Aristotle and Plato alongside Christian texts. For commoners, sermons, songs, and oral stories were the classroom. The medieval mind loved allegory and symbol. Events were read as signs. That doesn't make it ignorant. It makes it differently literate. Meaning-making was communal, not solitary. And yes, life could be brutal. Violence, disease, hard labor were real. But there's an argument that medieval people were less neurotic about uncertainty. Where modern life pushes individuals to search endlessly for identity, medieval identity arrived embedded in kinship, guilds, and parish. You rarely tried to find yourself in isolation. You were a son, an apprentice, a parishioner. That social script offered clarity and, for many, comfort. Think about time. There were no hour-minute everything work sprints. Time moved by seasons and saints' days. Deadlines, as we know them, were less pervasive. The economy was changing. Merchant classes and profit motives were rising by 1325. But overall, daily rhythms followed liturgical hours rather than calendar apps. That created a different psychological tempo, more cyclical, less continuously distracted. If you had to sum up why some aspects of 1325 might appeal today, it's this: community, shared meaning, sensory immediacy, and vivid ritual. People sang, ate, prayed, and worked together in ways that made life noisy and communal. They cared about handcrafted things, left physical marks in stone and cloth, and celebrated labor as more than a paycheck. But I'll be blunt. I'm not proposing we time travel and swap. I like antibiotics. I like modern medicine and civil rights and indoor plumbing. I am arguing for two things. First, we can borrow ancient practices that actually improved human flourishing. Stronger community bonds, clearer communal rights, meaningful work structures. Second, the Middle Ages teach us that meaning can be woven into everyday life, that wonder is compatible with hard work, and that shared ritual can reduce loneliness. So what if we kept our tech but revived the best social scaffolding? Imagine neighborhood guilds that supported tradespeople, community feasts that actually fed and connected people, and more time structured around seasons and celebrations rather than constant notifications. That's not a return to 1325. It's a selective rescue mission. Take the belonging, leave the pestilence. What do you think? Is there anything worth rescuing from the 14th century? Or is this romanticizing medieval nonsense? Hit the comments and tell me which medieval habit you'd bring into your life tomorrow. Thanks for diving into the medieval masterclass. The past isn't gone. It's waiting to be rediscovered.